Hello everyone, this is Mumbo here, welcome back, and today we are back on the Hermitcraft server. It is episode 38, and we're currently over here at Hermit Thrills, ready to start recording another video. But I've got to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, we aren't actually going to be working over here today. We are, of course, going to be working back over at the Mumbo Jumbo, cracking on with some of the projects that we've got going on over there. But I thought I would start things off in today's episode to show you what we did in the previous one. For anyone that missed it, we built this guy. Check him out! He looks amazing! I am so glad that I stuck with this. I was a little bit concerned when I first built it. I didn't really know if I liked it that much. I thought he looked a little bit too 80s, but I am super happy with it. He's a top guy, and also a lot of the hermits have put in the Skype chat that they really like him. So yeah, I'm very pleased with this, but what this is the virtual redstone consultant. You can hit this button here, and you get yourself some redstone tips. Now, I'm not going to do it on camera, simply because you saw that happening in the previous episode, but it's pretty cool. He's got a talking mouth, loads of different redstone happening, so I'm pretty happy with how that project turned out. But anyway, now we are going to be heading back over to my base area, because we've got a few bits and bobs that really need doing. Well, I never. It really is good to be back. I haven't been to this place for around about a week now. I've been working on various other projects in Hermitcraft, and it's just lovely to be back home working on the main base area. And you know what? I've just thought of something. Some of you guys might actually be new to the Hermitcraft series. Of course, we have a few new members that I'm sure you've all heard about by now. If you haven't, Doc M and Etho have joined Hermitcraft, which of course is incredibly exciting. Cannot wait to see what they get up to on here. But yes, as I was saying, we may have a few new people viewing this series, so I thought I would do a very quick little base tour so that you can see what I've been up to on Hermitcraft, what I've been working on, and all that sort of thing. So, first off, this is the entrance of the base. This little thing here, it travels along like that. We have got a tunnel right the way from Hermit Hills all the way over here. Didn't fancy using the nether this time, so it's around about 1,000 blocks. But you come down here, you come down the hill, and you see this. Now this is where I've been dumping quite a bit of my time recently. We have got the mob spawner up there that drops the mobs out onto all of these hoppers. Their items travel down those water streams and into this sorting system. All of that works wonderfully. And you know what? I think I'm actually going to check out those chests. I haven't done that for a while, so we'll take a look at how many resources we actually have. But before we do, actually, I should mention that out the back here, you can see this elevator. That goes right the way up to Y equals 230, I do believe, which is our AFK platform. So that's where we AFK for the actual mob spawner itself. But anyway, here we go. Right, we have got 2 double chests of gunpowder there. That's going well. And then we have 2 double chests on this side, I would believe. So yes, that is 4 double chests of gunpowder. You know what? I think I'm going to have to bring Etho over here, because I've heard from a very reliable source that he's pretty into his TNT. But it looks like, yes, we have got quite a few item drops there. But anyway, that is the upper base area. And then if we head down beneath, you can see this is the downstairs bit. So we have a few bits and bobs going on. This all needs development, and that is what we are going to be working on in today's episode, because we're going to be expanding out from this area and making entirely new sections. And we're going to be getting things started with this area over here. I'm going to be taking out this wall and continuing forth in this direction, and hopefully we will run that into some form of strip mine. Okay, so I have done a small amount of clearing here. You can see we have got a space to work with on the inside area. So this is where the room for the strip mine area is going to be going. Now, I should probably explain some of my plans here, because you're probably thinking, you know, strip mine on this layer, what on earth are you thinking? But the idea is that we're going to have a room that is going to have a mine shaft that drops down in the middle. Well, I just wanted to have a nice decorative area going around the outside. It's all going to be completely pointless. It's not going to be necessary. I hope I didn't look at that guy, because I'm suffering some serious lag right now. And I can imagine if that Enderman tried to attack me, I really wouldn't do particularly well. But yes, we're going to have a mine shaft going straight down the middle. That is going to take us down to the bottom. Is he angry? I don't know if he's angry. Okay, no, we look like we're fine. But yes, the mine shaft is going to go straight down from the middle, and that is how we're going to get down to the mine. But this is all going to be decorative stuff. And speaking of the decorative stuff, what I'm going to be doing is for each outer section that we're doing here. So we're doing outer sections right now. For each one of these, we're going to be doing a different style. So we've got this ice palace style going on here, but on the inside of this area, I'm starting to think that we could go for something jungly. We're basically going to be changing it up each time to keep it all fresh. But of course, every new section needs some form of entrance, and that, my friends, is why we are currently in the Redstone testing world. You know this place, you probably recognize this area. It's a pretty expansive land, and today we're going to be taking a look at this thing, this little 3x3 door that I designed around about 2 years ago now, and it still seems to be going strong. As you can see, flick this lever, all opens up really quite quickly, and if we flick it once again, it all closes up. This is the 3x3 we're going to be using. It's incredibly compact. It is only 2 blocks wide, which is what I like to see, so this will be absolutely perfect for all of our redstone needs. So let's hop back onto the Hermitcraft server and start constructing. I've said this so many times now, but I really need to get myself a sorting system. It is getting ridiculous how unorganized I seem to be with all of my resources. So the 3x3 is now built, but there's a bit of a problem, and it's a little bit frustrating. Basically, I've built it a bit too far back. I don't really like the way that this looks. I've done the redstone the opposite way round, so the pistons are actually towards the back of the door, and the circuitry is out the front. Whereas actually what I want is the pistons to be at the front of the door and the circuitry to be out the back. So what we're going to have to do is, it's quite simple, okay? I'm sure all of you understand what's about to happen. We are just going to, walk along here with the pickaxe, just destroying all of this nice hard work. And we're going to flip all of it around just because, we need to make sure that this sort of stuff is correct. I don't want to come along and later on in the process and go, oh, I really wish I'd flip round that door when I had the chance. So you know what, we're just going to get down to business, get rid of it, and start all of this again. Today is just not my day. Now I've actually built it 1 block too low in the ground. Somehow. How does one even do that? Third time lucky. Hey ladies and gentlemen, we have finally got the 3x3 door in place. And as you can see, I've done a little bit of decorating around here as well, trying to make the whole place look just a little bit better. And I'm not 100% certain on it just yet. I still think there's things that need to be done, okay? We really need to work on this place. But for the minute, I'm happy with it, okay? It does the job. So let's head down here and we'll flick the lever. I'll show you the 3x3 in action. So there it is. There is the full opening sequence. Nice and fast. It is super speedy over here. And then if we flick this lever once again, you can see it all closes back up pretty quick as well. Now, as far as input and output devices are concerned, I don't really know how I'm going to link this up. I was considering pressure plates and a T flip-flop, but that might get in the way. So for the minute, I think I'm just going to have a lever somewhere on the surface, for example, over here or something like that. I'll sort that out in a couple of seconds. But yes, the door is in, so now we just have to start working out what we are going to be doing on the inside of this area. So here's the plan. This block here is the central block of the room. This is the middle area of this space that we have here. And this is where we are going to be building the shaft that goes right the way down towards bedrock, or at least y equals 11, the mining layer, the one where everyone does the mining. So this is going to be where we're going to be going down. We're going to be creating one of those minecart spiral elevator things, because those seem to work really quite nicely. And that is, of course, going to be going in the center of this room right here. And then we will decorate the room around that. Now, as far as decoration is concerned, I don't really know what I'm going to be going for, because originally I did say jungle, and I really like the idea of jungle, but jungle involves quite a lot of leaves, and we are in a swamp biome. It really is the bane of my life, but we are in a swamp biome, which means that leaves look really disgusting, so I'm considering going for the sort of sea world theme, a bit like the theme that XP Crafted has going on, that really does look quite cool. If not, then the chances are I'll go for the same sort of theme that I've been using for the rest of my base, but I do fancy switching things up a little bit, so we'll have to wait and see on that one. But anyway, I think it's third person time lapse in time, because I've got one heck of a lot of digging to do. So there we go, we have managed to mine out a pretty big hole. This is a large area that we have to work with here. Goes right the way down to, I believe, y equals 11. I think that rings a bell. Let's stand on the bottom here. Yes, y equals 11, because I would say that is probably one of the best diamond layers, because then you don't hit too many lava lakes or anything like that, but you get yourself plenty of diamonds and resources, so I can't wait to do a bit of mining because I haven't done that for a very, very long time. But yes, this is a big area that we have to work with. We have created a crevasse in the Mumble Jumble, but we are soon going to be filling it up with, of course, the windy minecart elevator. Now, I have to say, okay, this is going to sound a little bit silly, but I'm quite excited to build one of these minecart elevators because I'm yet to do it yet. Of course, we did the minecart elevator using the slime blocks, but that sort of doesn't count. I'm yet to do the... I don't know how to call it. You know, the spinny minecart elevator, the one that has a hole down the middle. I'm sure you all know what I'm talking about, but I've never actually built one of those before in Minecraft. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting because they're really reliable, they're nice and quick, they don't use that many resources, and they also end up looking pretty good as well. So it is the big triple, the functionality and the fashion, and I'm excited to start working on it. Now, I've just discovered we have absolutely tons of glass, so I'm putting that to good use right now, creating the central section. And if you didn't understand what I was talking about in the previous clip with the windy, spinny elevator, what on earth was I talking about? This is what we're going to be creating. So you have the central section, you chuck the minecart down there, and then the minecart track goes up and around it, just like this. A bit like a carousel, so it'll take you right the way up to the top, or you can fall down the bottom and go into a water drop. So that's what we're building, and we are doing the glass as the central bit, but as far as the other parts are concerned, I have no idea. I have no idea what I'm going to be doing for this room. I have no clue on any form of design at the minute. I'm not even sticking to my theme anymore. I am considering sticking to the theme though. I really am. I like the idea of continuing that theme throughout my entire base, making it all look the same, making it all look cool, icy, palacey. But I know that some of you, and I get where you're coming from, you're thinking that I'm being a little bit lazy. You know, not trying anything new, I've got myself into a flow and I'm going to stick with it, that sort of thing. So, I'm in a bit of a tough situation because on the one hand, I'm really happy with what we are doing at the minute, with all the ice, the iron, the compressed stuff and all that. I really like that, but I do get where you're coming from, that it might all become a little bit same old, same old. I'm going to have a think about this one, but anyway, we are nearing the top now. We have almost done the central section, so I'm going to start chucking down some minecart rails. Right, a little bit more progress has been made. I have placed in all of the space for all of our minecart rails, so this is where they're going to be going. This snake that travels right the way around all of our glass, that is where the minecart will go. So we'll start from the bottom and of course travel up to the top. When it gets to the top, it will hit a cactus and then be picked up by the hopper, chucked down into this tube and make its way down to the bottom. And of course, once we get some water down at the bottom there, we can also chuck ourselves into this tube and make our way down to the bottom as well. It's nice and speedy. It's probably one of the best ways to get up and down on a Minecraft server. It's much better than using a ladder, which I tend to use quite often. I never generally use this sort of thing. I always shoot myself in the foot by using a ladder, and it's just not particularly good. Not only that, but they look really ugly. They're nowhere near as glamorous as a build like this, so I'm happy that we're doing this. But as far as the resources are concerned, I have had an awesome idea for what I'm going to be doing with this room. It does sort of stick to the theme that we've been doing. It does use a bit of snow and other various bits and pieces, but I can promise you it looks very different from all the builds that we have going on here. But it's such a cool idea. I'm excited to do it. I think it's going to be wicked. So yeah, let's get to it. Let's start placing down the minecart rails. Okay everyone, we have got all of the minecart rails in place now. We can travel right the way from the bottom all the way up to the top, or at least we could have done if I had had 3 extra powered rails. We're going to have to go right the way back to the other base in Hermit Hills to pick some of those up, because we have run out of them right the way towards the end. But I thought while we were over here, I would do just a little bit of redstone work, and I've created the little minecart launcher. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, this actually caught me out a little bit. I'm going to be honest, I'm quite surprised. My redstone brain is clearly being a little bit slow today, but I did struggle on how to do this. Basically what we are doing is when you stand on the pressure plate, a minecart will be dispensed, but it won't move off. As soon as you stand off the pressure plate, aka jumping into the minecart, then the minecart moves off. It's quite a simple system of powering and unpowering the redstone rails and things, but it caught me out. I actually struggled with this a little bit, but we've got it all done, so this is the system that we're going to be using. And we have a similar type thing up at the top for destroying the minecart, but once again, I didn't have a cactus, so we're going to have to head back to Hermit Hills. Okay, redstone mechanism is now done, resources have been gathered, and everything is now finished on the whole minecart elevator side of things. So now it is time to start decorating it, and I think I'm going to be going for the snow and iron look. You guys know the drill. So what I thought I'd do is do a quick third-person time-lapse of me constructing this entire thing, because there's a lot of blocks that need to be placed here, so hopefully you find that nice and interesting. Alright, as you saw from that time lapse there, we have now filled in the entire area surrounding our crazy vortex type thing. So that is all done now. It is looking pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. It's not going to win any awards. It's not wonderfully beautiful. It doesn't bring me to tears or anything like that. But it looks cool. I mean, it fits in with the rest of the theme, and that's all I can ask for. It's all I was expecting. I didn't think it was going to look brilliant, but it looks cool. It's a nice looking mine shaft that's going to go right the way down to the bottom area. And one thing that I think is really making the design look a little bit worse is the fact that we have all of that junk down at the bottom. So we'll go sort that out in a couple of seconds. But I just wanted to show you guys that this is how it all looks. You may notice that there is a slight mistake almost in the snow and the iron placement up at the top here. I actually ran out of space, so we have 3 bits of snow going right the way up. So we have 3 bits of snow, then iron, 3 bits of snow, then iron, right the way up to the top. Then at the very, very top here, you can see we only have 1 line of snow. But you know what? I actually quite like the way that that looks. It makes it look like it's finalized and squishing it all together up at the top here. But maybe that's just me talking out my bottom because I have been playing Minecraft for quite some time today. But anyway, I think it is now time that we clear up some of this stuff, make it look a tiny bit more presentable. Okay, so here goes nothing. We're going to be taking this one out on its maiden voyage. You can see I've done some clearing up, and immediately it just looks so much better. It looks a lot cleaner, much better than it did beforehand. But anyway, let's hop down the central tube here, fall right the way down to the bottom, and we land in this slightly murky looking water. That's due to the fact that of course we are in a swamp biome. But anyway, let's chuck our minecart in here so that it makes its way into that dispenser right there, and let's give this a quick test. Okay, so we stand on the pressure plate, the minecart is dispensed. When we stand here, it doesn't launch off. As soon as we get in it, however, the minecart rails activate and we travel upwards at great pace. This is fantastic, and hopefully we come up like that, and yes, it seems to work flawlessly. Oh boy, that is brilliant. As I said in the beginning of this episode, I've never actually built one of these in survival before. I did one in creative mode and I actually did a tutorial on it, but it didn't have that cool activation system down at the bottom. It had something slightly different, which, let's face it, wasn't actually quite as good. So I'm happy with this. This works nicely. There's one more odd job that needs doing towards the end of this video, and I thought I would do that on camera simply because I haven't really done too much of that so far in today's video. So basically what we want to do is we want to set up a pressure plate to open and close this door, because I prefer it when it's closed. It looks a lot better. When it is stuck open, hang on, I'll show you. When it's stuck open, it just looks like we've done a rubbish job on the doorway. Look, if we take a look here, it just looks like we've skimped it on the doorway, and that's not particularly grand. So I want it to be closed most of the time, and it will only open up when we actually want to head through. We aren't going to be using a T flip-flop here just because it's not necessary. We are just going to be using a pressure plate. So anyway, that goes up like that. The redstone will travel up there, and then we're going to have an iron pressure plate just because they look a lot better. And if you stand on it, nothing seems to happen. That is very bizarre. Is it because the signal strength from a weighted pressure plate? Of course. Oh, of course. Weighted pressure plates are slightly different to regular pressure plates. Okay, so that means that we're going to need to run a repeater out from that. Cool, that's a little bit more complicated than I was expecting, I have to say. So place that block there, and then we'll have the redstone there. Right, that does the trick. So hopefully when we stand on this pressure plate, the door will open up, and we'll be able to walk straight on through. And it does stay open long enough for us to actually walk through there, so that's always good news. So on this side, I guess we will do pretty much the same thing. We'll place down our iron pressure plate there. We are going to need a repeater, and then this redstone is going to have to travel right the way around to the other side. It's not particularly far to go though, so we shouldn't have too many problems. So we'll take out all these blocks here. Just mine out this area down underneath. This is the circuitry, by the way, if you hadn't noticed, which is very, very simple. And I'll probably put a link to the 3x3 door down in the description just because it's quite an old video, but the design still works really well. Very fast, very compact. Probably one of my favourite redstone creations that I've done. But anyway, there is all the redstone, and the repeater should go in like this. So that means that most of the time the door is going to be closed. But when we want to go through it, of course, the door will open up. So we'll walk through like this. Door opens. Oh no! Did that happen too fast? That might have happened too fast. That doesn't look very good, does it? Okay, so what I thought was going to be a really simple task ended up being something a tiny bit more complicated there. But if we take a look underneath, you can see I have done a little bit extra work. I have added in this pulse extender here, which basically extends the pulse. It means that the door stays open a little bit longer, and that means, of course, it doesn't do that crazy thing where it chucks out all its blocks and doesn't particularly work very well. So let's try and make our way out of this area. It's not particularly climb safe. Anyway, we'll chuck in those blocks, walk over the pressure plate, and as you can see, the 3x3 door opens up. We can walk on through. It stays open for quite some time, and yes, it works from both sides. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is all I've got time for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to hit that like button, and if you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I'm out. I'll see you later.